for me. That's great too.
Hello.
Oh, hi, my name is Gabriel. I'm here because I also love lecturing. But I love meditation. I do a lot of meditation and yoga here at 3 Joules. I also help coordinate the meditation department here at 3 Joules.
He is the coordinator of the meditation department. He's the boss. Yeah.
But I was a participant of the first meditation teacher training that 3 Joules offered last year, and that was a really profound experience for me. So I'm also here to kind of just encourage those of you that are thinking about this to dive in. It's a fabulous experience, and he'll say more about what's going to be offered. But I really from the heart, I would like to share how it was a transformational experience for me. And I was already a meditation teacher, and it was still a profound experience for me. So I'm very excited for all of you for the journey that may be ahead.
Oh, that's so sick. Thank you. Cool. I think my glasses are in on the top. I can't see anything like that. Hi, John. How are you?
Hi, I'm Erin, and I am here because I really love meditation, like a whole lot. And I was just curious about the program.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Thank you. Jen? Okay. One of the bearded men.
Okay, I'm Jan. Why am I here? Well, to tell other people, I like the idea. It's very simple, very basic. You reinforce them with the idea of becoming.
Nice. Cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm Richard. I'd like to magnify what has already been said by a few people here by saying, yeah, this is important meditation, it's very important. It's taught here in a way that's different than you'll find it taught elsewhere in the city. And what's important to me, I think, is that some of these meditation techniques are 2,500 years old or older. Some are 7,000 years old. It's really quite frequent that you'll run into someone who says, "Oh, I'm developing this new technique. It works. Come join our new fad." And I think it's important to remember that some of the greatest minds in the world have been developed this style, this Gelugpa tradition of meditation that is the tradition that is what 3 Joules was founded upon. And some of the greatest minds in the world have been analyzing it, perfecting it, adding to it. And so it's important for me that this tradition be not only protected, but projected into the world, into America, into this century. So I'm very excited about this program, and I would like to support it, and I'd like everyone here to feel that it's extremely valuable so that it can be used to its potential. So its potential can be realized. I'd like to add, if anyone here becomes enlightened, please come back and help us find the way to do this.
I should have a whole bunch of people out.
Yeah.
Training is finished. OMG, sorry. Hi. Hi. Hi, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
So what we're doing is we're just saying who we are, why we're here, what are we looking for.
My name is Agathe.
Yeah.
Agathe.
Agathe. Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hi. I'm here for meditation. I think that Tibetan Buddhism came in my life a few times, like when I was 8 years old, and then later kept knocking, And a friend of mine 3 years ago introduced me to Tibetan Buddhism, and then I just came back from India 2 months ago. I was there for a little bit more than 4 months, and the end of my trip was in the Himalaya, in Arakat, and I spent 10 days in Tusheta, and I had the luck to I met the Dalai Lama too, and then I came back in New York, and in the yoga studio I met Erin, who I loved and started following her on Instagram, and she's speaking highly about here and then promoted this course experience. So I thought I might
That's
check it
so
out.
cool.
Yeah, and actually 2 years ago, because I used to live in the East Village, I had a crazy busy life, or I made myself busy, whatever. And I meant to come here, but it just never happened. So,
No.
and I think also I know one of the guest teacher too, because when I checked Mark Krasner,
You know Mark?
yeah, he's a best friend of one of my best friends from a long time ago. I haven't seen him for years, but I was just like, okay, there's a lot of him that
No.
yeah. So
Well, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I'd like to welcome and say hi to the visiting Liamid, who actually started Go Yoga 17 years ago, a transformational place in Williamsburg, and then brought that into 3 Jewels sometime and then ran away. Yeah, to California. But welcome, my God, it's so nice to see you. Hi.
Hi,
What are you doing here?
I love you. I love the center, and I'm homesick,
Oh.
and I hate Los Angeles. This is the real deal. This place is the real deal, and you are the real teachers,
Oh.
and the real teachings, and I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you. Hi. Hi.
Hi, my name is Galina, and well, I help people to get out of their routine they sink into, and I also teach people how to get their best oral health. So I hope to teach them to meditate so we can save on Anastasia.
Thank you, Galina. Hello.
Hey, I'm Eric, and I'm here because I just finished my 300 hours yoga teacher training here, and then we have models of light meditation, right? And I just really I am just a baby into meditation. I'm getting there, and I think it also is a good excuse to come and see you often and learn from you. I'm getting into it. And I think this will be a good opportunity for me to deepen into myself.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about the content of the program, and I just want to hear from each of you to see what your wants are, so I can tell you, no, that's not going to happen, or yes, that is going to happen, so we're clear on that, and then get any of the details. But thank you, Eric. Hello.
Hi, my name is Kurt. I met Hector a long time ago, 6-7 years ago, and had an instant connection. He gave me some valuable advice, and my life has changed for a lot of reasons since then. And I've been kept being pulled back to his presence and his teachings and his space, and then pulled away.
Two good things, though.
Yeah, and I've been studying meditation. And was certified in the form of transcendental meditation, Vedic meditation, and I found that it was lacking certain mental agility, and in my experience of coming to these classes, it felt like that could be something that I could gain here, and also gain another tool to help others. I teach poetry and well-being to kids and adults, and so I'm here because I feel like this would be, it's going to give me some accountability and some rigor to really study.
We'll give you rigor for sure. Yeah. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Alana. I recognize some faces, but I've been crying up 3 Jewels for like 6-7 years now, I guess. I'm really excited to do this training. I work every day with students and teachers, and I just want to be able to share with them. They live in, like all the students I work with qualify for like free and reduced lunch, which means they're living in poverty. And I just really want to help other beings.
Awesome, thank you. You can do that with meditation. How?
Hi, good evening. My name is Michael. I've been coming to the guided meditations and free drills for several years, 4 years or 5 years. And I've been doing yoga here for about the past 6 weeks. I'm just here to listen and want to learn more about meditation.
Awesome, welcome. Thanks, Michael. Hi.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I did the meditation teacher training also last year with Hector and Coco, and it like completely transformed my life. I cry all the time, so it's okay. It's just normal, doesn't really mean anything bad or good. Anyway, but I'm excited to hear more about what this training would be, and to also tell you that you should do it. It is going to be super, super powerful, and it will transform your mind so that you could help other people transform theirs and have a better life and more happiness and more tools to handle the shitty things in life. And I don't know, I got so much out of it, like, I can't even say.
Sarah actually helped organize the pilot version, I believe, last time. There was a lot of work. Thank you for your work, and it's the foundation of this one, so thanks. Hello.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. I'm also here pretty much just to Hector. No, I'm just kidding.
Nah, hey.
No, I'm not. But because I'm here because of Hector, I do want to share. I also had an amazing experience with the teacher training last year. And it's totally worth it. This year, there's even more guest teachers, which we'll probably get into, but I know most of them personally, and they are incredible people. And I'm going to try to sneak in when they're teaching so that I can get a little bit of that too. Echoing everything that Sarah said, I also want to say that it's such a beautiful experience to teach meditation. And the training, I think, I was teaching a little bit before, but after the training, I really felt like that kind of agility and confidence in teaching. And it's so satisfying to be able to relay that experience to people. And it's really satisfying to be able to help people meditate, to guide people in meditation. It's one of the most beautiful things that I think you can do. And it's also one of the best ways to improve your own personal practice. So there's that relationship there where now that I'm able to teach others, I'm also kind of like feeling out my own practice in a really beautiful way. So again, recommend it.
I don't have to say anything, you guys can just.
And just spending time in this place. And with Hector and definitely with Coco, even though she's trying to hide over there. Coco is another, just such an incredible person. So can't recommend it enough.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Santi. I'm here because this place is amazing. People here are amazing. It's a beautiful community. My main motivation is to kind of kick my butt into having a better foundational motivation and discipline to meditate, and to kind of explore my mind, explore how I can develop some wisdom and compassion, and ultimately to seek emptiness directly.
Awesome. Thank you, Santi. We have Hannibal.
Hi, I'm Hannibal.
No.
I'm here. I took a course, a final course also last year, which was amazing. Very amazing, transformative. It pushed me to places that I didn't know I could get to. Not to mention like just the end, the culmination was just beautiful with everybody sharing and everybody just opening up. And you learned so much about people that you never did.
I'm actually totally going to use you guys, since you're in the room, to talk about that process later when we get to talk about graduation, because that might be, rather than me telling people what they can do, that you can tell me your experience.
Yeah, and I've been coming here for, I don't know, 5 years, or I don't know how many years it's just an amazing place, a beautiful place, it's transformative, the people here are amazing, and yeah, I just want to support in whatever way I can.
Thank you. And Coco, hi.
Hi.
Who are you?
Hi, everybody. Coco.
What are you doing?
What am I doing here? I think I'm inseparable from individuals.
Yes, that's a really good thing.
Really, I started, this first 3 Jewels was opened about 20 years ago on 5th Street, around the corner from 4th Street. I lived on 4th and 2nd, and I was walking my dog, and it was like appearing as a little bookstore tea shop. Except that when I went in to have tea with my friends, like, there's a new tea shop around the corner, we have to go try it out. Except that when I sat down there, they wouldn't give me a bill. You know, they gave me cookies, which I didn't order, but they wouldn't give me a bill. And the next thing I knew, the next time I went in, it totally transformed into this little Buddhist meditation center. And they had a lot of ordained nuns, some monks, who would teach meditation every morning and these classes. And suddenly I was going and studying and practicing with them every single day. And then every single night there were classes going on that were teaching the same curriculum that they taught in the monasteries and oral lineage, unbroken from the time of the Buddha. And I didn't know that, I just was going, and suddenly I was hearing this stuff and practicing things they would tell me to do, homework assignments. And suddenly my life started to change. And I kept going, and suddenly they had me finish all these courses that you would study in the monastery, and then go on to more advanced practices in studies and meditation. So really, it's just, I'm still trying to figure out what happened. You know, what happened, because my life is still transforming from it. And more alive than I think it was before that. It was very empowering. What they were teaching was empowering for anybody who wanted to live a full human life and get every ounce of meaning and purpose from that life. And the teachings are just point on. They're spot on. They only lasted that long because they were. So there's just this wisdom. There's this incredible wisdom in there that describes the profound in a way that we have access to. And that information is so powerful. It's like homeopathic, I don't know if they call them drugs or pellets. Like you take it, you have some kind of sickness, and you take a little bit of the sickness, something in a small form. Sometimes I think they're just sugar, like they're all the same, and there's nothing different about any of those pellets. But you take it, and it has a way of going at your biggest, I don't know, sickness, issue. There's something about the wisdom that's taught here and the way that it's presented that just has a way of breaking. Sometimes I think about all the problems we've ever seen as children born in the world or in the city, in day-to-day life, war, anger, conflict, just all those things any human being has to face. And it has, like, I think of it like a big ball of Drano knots. And you apply this little wisdom thing that they teach in this lineage, and it starts to break it all up. Slowly, it starts to break up all the knots and problems that we've had in our life or we've seen around us, and it empowers you to make it different, to not be a victim to all of that, but someone who's now like a change maker, a creator, like it connects you to the power that we have available to us. And then you begin to represent and make those changes in your own life and slowly become some kind of being that you never thought was even possible. Like you become this being maybe that you always wanted to be but never really believed it was possible. And it keeps growing, like it doesn't stop. So why am I here? Because it's still growing in me, because I get to share all the information that was poured tirelessly year after year from my home teachers, and they don't stop. I can't believe how much they poured in this head, like just year. I just really, when I go out to teach now, there's just so much in there that I didn't realize how much this lineage, well, teaching that they gave you to give to others. Just people are just waiting there, you know, for us to like have those answers or those rules for them, and you're like, oh, here, it's like this, like you get the whole picture, you get it, and so finally you're not like a little person caught up in the tide winds or the turbulent waters. You're someone who can see everything that's going on. You know how to direct people and yourself, and it doesn't mean it's not hard anymore, but you're not like taken out by it. You know how to guide yourself and others, and it's a beautiful way to live, knowing that you have something to share with others. I mean, I think that's what we want to do, is be able to give and share with others. That's it. You know?
Awesome. Thank you. Coco's also going to be one of the teachers in this training. Welcome. What we're doing is we're quickly introducing everybody, so you've just missed absolutely everyone. You're the last two, and then Stephen. So welcome. What's your name and what brought you here?
Me, I'm Shakar Afrani, and I enjoy meditating. I'm here to expand my experience with meditating.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I'm Courtney, and I guess I'm here out of curiosity as well. I don't meditate too.
Fantastic. And last but not least, thank you, Courtney. We got married, by the way, Courtney and I.
Oh yeah,
We
I
did.
still have it.
Good. You do?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
haven't fallen off yet.
I know. I appreciated the wedding. And it was amazing. You're still there?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Good. And Stephen.
Hello, I'm Stephen. You probably know me. If not, I'm the director at 3 Jewels. I am in charge of everything that happens here. I also did the meditation teacher training last year, and it was amazing. Really got me set into my practice. And like Rachel was saying, I was teaching before, and then it made me so much more confident in my teaching skills, and now I'm teaching frequently, and it's such a gift to be able to share this stuff. And there's so much information that we can dive into, but I think what they've compiled here is just like this is what you need to know, and once you get that, then you can share it, and it can be applied to anything. So I'm excited for everyone.
Cool, thank you. And my name is Hector. I am going to be the lead teacher of the teacher training. I'm the president of 3 Jewels. I was born when I was really young. That's my only joke, and I only do that joke. Yeah, and I really love saying it and making people uncomfortable as I explain it. Yeah. No, like Coco, I bumped into the 3 Jewels by coincidence 22 years ago, and to say it transformed my life would be an understatement. I think the reason we're seeing some people who are saying, oh, I love Hector, I'm excited to see him, is because I've been away for 2 months having a fairly difficult transition. I went to see my mum, who got diagnosed with cancer in Australia, expecting for her to get better and taking care of her and so on, with all my Buddhist wisdom and all my years of meditation. And I go there, she's all hopeful and whatever, and in 60 days she dies. Yeah. And she doesn't die just like that. She goes through the entire process of letting go of the outside world, having her mind project all the crap that we hold on to, all the negativities, all the hopes, seeing them go away, and then gradually that boundary gets closer, and it's your body and your attachment to your body and the wish to live and the wish to die, and then the back and forth that a human life does at that process, if you're conscious through it, and then bed bound, and then drugged up, and then fighting it, and then starving and hydrating to death, yeah, dehydrating to death. To be able to hold her hand through that entire process is a disgusting, horrible, ultimately meaningful thing. and the most intimate thing I've ever done. So I think that's why we've got all these people going, hey, nice to see you, I love you. I haven't been in this space for just over 2 months. The reason I'm telling you that is, I shared that moment with my mum and my 3 siblings, yeah, and the hospital staff and the rest. And to see what would come up in my mind uncontrived when faced with these most horrible, traumatic, real life things was like a gift from 20 years ago from this place called the Three Jewels. The teachings that get poured into your mind, your capacity to shift your mind. No one does it for you, but your own capacity to reframe reality, reframe conception, reframe meaningful things in your life, and meditate on it when you want to and when you don't want to. If I didn't have all those years of death meditation practice, I don't think I would have been as strong and transformed that experience in the way that I had. How do I know this? I had my siblings with me who didn't have any of this training, but had the same upbringing I did. So I saw in them this uncontrolled reaction to the most powerful thing that can happen to a human being, which is dying. Yeah. And so to see reflected in my siblings my most negative impulses that I had tamed, I wasn't aware of until that moment. When the process of dying was happening, when the conflicts were occurring, I saw blame, I saw anger, I saw jealousy, I saw hatred, I saw frustration, I saw depression, and I saw anxiety in an uncontrolled way in my siblings' minds, in a way that is so familiar to me, because I had the same impulses 20 years ago, and here is me meditating, thinking I'm not making any progress, and all of a sudden, here comes this most powerful experience, which is watching your Holy Mother pass away, and looking into her eyes for the last time before she knows she's going to go and close her eyes because she'll be drugged up, and having that powerful experience with all the emotion that comes up, which is strong, being able to see the magic possibility in that moment, despite the anger, despite the frustration, impulse. The mind will tell you it can be one thing, but all I can tell you is that with the years of meditation and the insight that comes from that, you can transform even that moment. Yeah. And so I saw the fruits of 20 years of study here. I saw the fruits of all the efforts in meditation that I thought sometimes I succeeded, sometimes I failed. I saw the fruits of that just 3 weeks ago. And I wish that for anyone. In between that horrible experience and all the bliss and wonder and lovingness that can come of a human life, you can only experience that in your mind. You can only experience that in your consciousness. And you have capacity to reshape that mind. And it only happens in meditation in the most profound way. Yes, you're going to have transformative life experiences, but unless you've got some power to choose what you do with your mind, then your mind is just going to take you for a life ride until that moment comes. And then I also saw in my mum the habits of a lifetime pop up at that time. And lucky for her, she had virtue and she had goodness. She also had some anger and some stupid habits. You know, it's like, we should renovate the kitchen. I'm like, Mom, you have 3 days left. The kitchen should be white in color. The kitchen doesn't matter, you know, but she'd been thinking about it over and over. Whatever you put in, you are forced to experience. And this training, meditation training, proper meditation training, the ownership that comes from meditation training gives you the power to build over decades, not days, not weeks, decades, a mind that will deliver you an uncontrived experience that has the potential for beauty, even in the most horrible circumstance. Yeah? I hope that makes sense and I wasn't just ranting, but to me, that's the essence of why one would like to use the tool of meditation to transform your life and ultimately help other people with whatever issues they've got in their lives, bring their minds to how to work through it. Yeah, because everything is fixable. Everything. Every experience that goes through your mind can have and will have the flavor that you put in your mind in the first place. So if your mind is full of yuck, then experiences will appear as yuck. And if your mind is full of giving and kindness, and your every experience will be experienced that way, not because you try, it's just the way it will be. And you have power inside each of you to build that in your mind. But first I want to tell you a little bit about 3 Joules. Can I do that? This place is awesome. Our vision, our mission, our goal is to give people the opportunity to have transformative experiences to whatever capacity they have as we share a nurturing experience of Dharma, Tibetan Buddhist Dharma specifically, but we also share other stuff through a very clear lineage, both verbal and written. Yoga, meditation, and you can't know these things without getting involved in your world and helping your world get better. So community outreach is a strong part of what we do here. Most people don't know this place is run nearly entirely by volunteers. Yeah, a team of about 95 teachers and volunteers, karma yogis, baristas who are giving up their time after work. Like they go to work, they do their slavery, and then they come here and take care of other people, making sure they have an opportunity to have a meaningful New York experience. Yeah. So this place does these things. We have daily meditation classes, at least 2 a day, run by your team. Yeah, thanks, Gabriel. And people hold their noses as they meditate. Apparently, I didn't approve of this message. No. We have an incredible yoga program. Thank you for starting it. When you moved, it began to build momentum here, and now it's this incredible, powerful. Who does yoga in here at 3 Joules? Yeah, and keep your hand up if you absolutely love it, and stand up if you hate it. No, it really. Like, we've only been in this space 6 months, right? And for a place that's sort of a startup, we're a non-profit. We were up on the 3rd floor. Nobody knew about us. We had to move because our building got sold and we had to sort of grow up. We've only been in this place for 6 months, and it's already an incredible experience for people that come here. We have those Dharma courses that Coco was talking about. They call the Asian Classics Institute courses. The entire curriculum that you would get in the Tibetan monastic system. Nuns and monks go through it. His Holiness the Dalai Lama went through it. Yeah, he had to study the same things we teach here. The first time he was ever translated into the English language was here at 3 Joules in that little center on 5th Street. Yeah, 22 years ago. And we still run that program that takes 6 years to complete. I'm teaching that on Thursday nights, and the last course of that, which is a kind of summary review, starts in 2 weeks in this room. So if you've missed the 6 years, that's a really good opportunity to catch up and start. And that's what these classes look like. It really is a powerful, condensed version of what would take you 20 years in a Tibetan monastery. What we did is we grabbed all the essential points and experiences of that training, removed the memorization element which happens at the Tibetan monastery, so we don't have to remember or like memorize all the sutras and commentaries and the rest. We also removed a bunch of debating that happens every evening in a monastery for 3 or 4 hours. But the essence of those 20 years study courses in the monasteries is here, and it's probably the most amazing thing you can do with your life. As you see, 3 Joules has a cafe bookstore, which is awesome. We've partnered up with a place called Little Skips. If you know that from Bushwick, it's excellent coffee. And we hold public events. Geshe Michael comes out at least once a year, and we teach through public events at the Lincoln Center. We have visiting teachers. This is Mr. Wu, who's also a founder of 3 Joules. We have yoga training. We just finished. We put up your hand if you just completed your yoga training at 3 Joules and you loved it. Yeah, I know you're all teaching amazing already. And we've got, of course, meditation teacher training. We did one last year, and it was our pilot. We want to make sure the essence of that is correct and powerful and meaningful and useful. We learned a few things from last year, and I'd like to share with everybody now. some of the things that we've included in this program. So I'm here to, first of all, give you a little overview. I'll stop. You get to say, well, what about this? And how about that? And I'll say, no, we cover that later. Or I'll pretend that we know what we're talking about and go, yes, we're planning on that. Yeah, or I'll say something like that. No, I'll be honest, as honest as I can be. But our job here today is any question at all, any concerns, any hopes, let us know right now, because there's still opportunity to tweak the program. The program has enough tweaking room for, dependent on the final number of students that come here in your varied capacities. So if everybody that's here that starts the program has some experience in meditation teaching, then we can level up the program a little bit more. We're pitching the program as if you don't have any background, yeah? And it doesn't matter if you have any teaching background as a meditation teacher or not, you will definitely come out the other side with a bunch of tools, capacities, meditation, and confidence. If everyone that starts in the training, some have this much skill and some have this much experience and others want to do this, we can tweak the entire program a little bit because we know the content inside out, and the speakers will also know to pitch it that way. The goal is for us as meditation teachers is to help other people wake up. Yeah, the world is full of that. I love that hairball that you were describing of things that trouble people and trip people up, and your life will be going smooth for a second, and then it won't. And if you have this stuff in your head, if you have this stuff at least understood, you will have way more capacity to overcome. And as a teacher, our job is to find out where that person is, meet them there and bring them up so they can jump that hurdle or melt that hairball. I'm going to start using that. No, I like it. I'm going to start using that image because it's very strong, right? So I'll give you a quick summary of five, 6 things that we're definitely going to teach. We're going to start off and we're going to pitch some meditation essentials. What is meditation? What is not meditation? How does your mind function? We have an Eastern model of the mind, we have a Western model of the mind. We'll bring them together, but you need to know the nuts and bolts of meditation. How to set up a space, what's your posture look like? What the hell is the breath? What happens inside? What's going on in your head? Should you think of nothing? But we'll get the nuts and bolts and terminology down pat. So we all start on a similar platform. And then after that, we'll get to a little bit higher. Okay, so what's the use of meditation? What's it used for? How does it help us? What will be the outcomes for a person? And dependent on your audience, you as meditation teachers should know you don't walk into a primary school and say, you're all going to get enlightened. Right? That's not helpful to anyone. But as meditation teachers, you should know the steps that it would take to transform a human mind into its ultimate form. You should know those steps, yeah? And then your capacity to say, well, with this audience, I need to pitch it this way because it will help these audience, these people overcome their hairball blockages or get to the part of the drain that they want to. It's not my job to make them Buddhists. That's the last thing I want from this training or any of the teachings here. It's not your job to make other people Buddhists. Buddhism isn't even a thing. Buddhism means wake up-ism, yeah? The one who woke up, that Buddha, yeah? So your job is to wake people up to wherever they need waking up from if they're coming to you to get an experience in meditation. They're basically giving you their mind to say, help me with this thing. There isn't a more precious thing than somebody's mind in your hands. So as meditation teachers, we'll talk about that too. And in that previous thing, we'll talk a bunch about East and West. We'll look at all the modern research and the Western model of the mind and the brain and neuroscience and all the things that we as Westerners believe around this thing called mind. And then we'll go and grab the Tibetan Buddhist lineage mostly. We'll also get some of the yogic lineage and discuss the Eastern approach to consciousness. And what is it that you can do? I mean, the words they have for meditation alone in the Tibetan tradition is like, there's all these words that describe subtle differences of mind or states of mind. We have consciousness, mind. we're pretty rudimentary in the West around this thing we're yet to understand fully and integrate. But we're in an amazing time and opportunity to link both those together. So we've got the essential nuts and bolts of meditation. We've got some understanding where it can take you and lead you, what are the benefits, how do you talk about them. And then we've got some actual practices to walk those steps for you to teach. So we'll give you some signature meditations. You'll walk away from the training with some clear meditations, how to give a single pointed focus meditation to improve concentration, etc., etc. How to generate love and compassion, etc. So we'll give you some signature meditations that you can just pull out of the toolkit and teach depending on the audience. Yeah, so that will also happen. And then a ton of the training, at least a third of the training, will be developing your skills as teachers. It's one thing to meditate, it's another thing completely to be able to articulate what it is you need other people to go through in order for them to have an experience and then give them the space. There's a bunch of listening skills that need to happen there and awareness before you go and dig into somebody's mind just because they gave it to you. Yeah? So people that are coming to your classes are opening themselves up for you, and so we've got to teach you exactly what to do to prepare for a class, how to create a safe container for people to have a meaningful experience, and then also what happens after the meditation. So there's a bunch of practice and practical skills to be teachers in this training, about a third. Presentation, preparation, listening, terminology, etc., etc. And then there's a bunch of talk about ethics and the teacher, the responsibility that I just talked about. So that's an essential component of the teaching part, as responsible human beings for other people's consciousness, which is way more impactful than giving people money or giving people food or giving people work. The effects you put on somebody's mind will last them a lifetime. And if you understand Eastern philosophy or believe in past and future lives, you've just helped or hindered somebody for eternity. Yeah. So your meditations have the potential to really transform. And so you've got to be confident of what it is that you're doing, how you're doing it, and then ultimately what is the safe boundary to hold in order to hold that space for somebody. It's a powerful responsibility that we should always have consciousness. We've got a ton of topics around that as well, and exercises to check yourselves. And last but not least, the training will include a whole bunch of business skills, the business of meditation. No longer do we want people to feel like, I just meditate, don't give me money. The world needs meditation, and I'd rather people pay for meditation. If they're going to have a business around meditation, do it properly. Don't do it half-assed. Really serve the people that are paying you to teach them meditation, be it a corporate environment, a school, be it one-on-one, be in workshops, etc. At least know how to prepare, organize, market, brand yourself as an identity, as a teacher, or your product, your meditations as a product, as a thing. You need to know those things, and we've got some excellent speakers on that. On that point, I'm happy to take questions. Good. No. Anyone, what's your thoughts on that? I don't know if I covered enough of the content, and then I want to talk a little bit about the teachers and a bit more about specifically what they'll share. But what's your thoughts on any of that? Ring an alarm bell, excitement bell, comments? 3, silence.
Hello, Angel.
Hi. I'm curious about what kind of style or lineage the meditation will be about.
Cool. So predominantly, we're going to use a secular approach to the Tibetan Buddhist lineage. Yeah, specifically the Gelugpa Tibetan Buddhist lineage, the one of the Dalai Lama. Yeah. So that is the only lineage that I'm confident in. Yeah. There will be other practitioners coming, giving you insights from other lineages, but predominantly the Tibetan Buddhist lineage, that of the Dalai Lama is the one that will follow, which has a specific understanding of the 2 core concepts of Buddhism, karma and emptiness, and how the world appears versus how it really is, understanding that will be the foundation to why you're doing things in your mind in the first place. The use of meditation as a tool rather than as a goal unto itself will be a major part of the first 2 weekends of the training. We're going to get the summary of that 6-year curriculum in 2 weekends, right? So 6 years condensed into 2 weeks, and then there'll be a flavor of that understanding right throughout the entire content, putting the onus on you to understand, well, what is important about this thing called mind? Why is meditation a thing in the first place? You know, why not just do push-ups? Why not go do something? What is it that is the opportunity for transformation in meditation? And the essence is that ultimately there is nothing that is not experienced by the mind. So you change the mind, you change reality. Ultimately, that's the goal. But you can't go teach that to third graders. So bluntly, except you can in China. Yeah, that's another story. So that's a good question. Anyone got any other questions or comments on that? Cool. Anything else? Like, what were you hoping for the training? I'm interested. Oh,
is it every weekend?
Every single weekend starting September. I'm glad you asked. Every single weekend starting September 28th and ending December 9th, except for the Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah. And some people have asked questions, can I miss a weekend? Yeah. And the answer is yes, but let's talk about it, because some weekends are going to be difficult to catch up on, and some weekends are not. Yeah. I understand we live in New York. People knock at your door all the time in New York. But New York is an amazing place for lots of changing things, so we're not completely inflexible. But if you really dedicate yourself to the content that we share, the homework component, the exercises, there's a bunch of daily logs that you should do when you meditate every day throughout this program. If you do the work, you will walk out the other side changed. Yeah, and it's not because we did anything magic, it's because you dedicated your time and energy to do magic yourself with your own mind. And so it's available. The transformation that you heard in some of the previous people that did this training is available for all of you. And the more you put in, the more you take out. There's no magic that way. There's no magic wand I can hold or anyone else can hold to say, your mind has changed. That doesn't happen. It can appear to happen, but it doesn't happen.
Why is it set on Saturday and Sunday, and 2 p.m. and then you get to at 2 p.m.?
Yeah, because I haven't decided yet, and I want to have that discussion with the final group that signs up. Sometime in there, we're going to have a lunch break, yeah? And it could be at between 1 and 2, or 1:15 and 2, and be something like that, yeah? So that's not set in stone. I've got enough wiggle room with the guest teachers that are studying. Some of them are starting at 2:30 on some weekends. So there's enough wiggle room to allow us to change depending on how the group is going. Yeah. So that's why it looks that way. Thank you. Most weekends will look like this. Friday night, we're going to start with a review of what we did last week and talk about homeworks and so on. And then we'll get new content or to practice the content. We'll get new content on the Saturday. We'll get to outwork it in the afternoon and workshop it and practice it and do lots of 360 and back and forth and fail properly together. Yeah. So Stephen has this great saying, don't worry, things will fail into place. Yeah. So, which is true. One of the important things about this training is we want it to be a learning lab. There's nothing wrong that can happen in the training. If there is, you should make it happen in the training. If you've got a problem that you want to overcome, make it come out in the training and we can all work it together. You will be in a safe space and you will be helping each other overcome your obstacles to whatever aspect of the training comes, whether it's I'm not good at the training skills, or I don't understand this part about the meditation. Whatever it is, I don't like talking in public, I don't know how to do this, doesn't matter. Do it, make mistakes in the training, and those mistakes will be your biggest lessons. And not just for you, for everyone else that's there. Who felt that way from the last teacher training that we did? Who felt that was a really valuable thing? Yeah, do you want someone want to talk about what it was like the first time you had to sit in front and do something off the cuff and then get everybody giving you feedback? You know? But I only want the people that are going to say good things. Yeah. No. Someone want to share what that experience was like?
It's good to know how to take. It's good to like, I feel like we all want to hear that we're doing well all the time, and then if you're anything like me and you hear criticism, it's like all is lost, everything's terrible, I have this natural reaction because I was like a huge nerd in school and I always got good grades. And so I was like face to face with that. But the thing that's bad about being good all the time and not hearing any critiques is that you don't get a chance to look where you can improve. And it was actually like so valuable to hear. And it was also like a safe space to freak out. Not that people were like freaking out, but we were nervous. Like, well, should I talk about the presentations yet? Or maybe
Later. Do that later.
Yeah. So it was really nice, and people were giving their critiques and suggestions really lovingly. So it's like the best space to kind of get used to that, and really like being encouraged and looking at the parts of yourself that you want to improve, and not just pushing them back and ignoring them.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense. If that fits it for any of you.
You'll get face to face with your uncomfortable space, and then you'll have the opportunity to confront it. It will be a safe space. It will be a structured thing. So it's not like just talk. It will be structured. How are you in content? How are you in presentation? How are you in language? You'll be able to get very defined and clear feedback on the things you want to improve. Yeah. So there's a bunch of practice. There'll be some small but meaningful reading. We'll use the Mind Illuminated book, and there'll be a bunch of other readings that will give you piecemeal week after week. There'll be a small amount of homework that is heavy, but the most important thing is those that start this training, I would love for you to begin your meditation log, to begin to watch what your mind is doing in meditation day in, day out. I don't care how much meditation your capacity is at the moment. If it's 5 minutes, it's 5 minutes. If it's 15 minutes, it's 15 minutes. If it's 2 hours, it's 2 hours. I don't care. So long as wherever you're at, you can improve and have depth of awareness about what's going on in your mind and how you, as a meditator, can understand what you did to shift it a little bit. Because then you'll be able internally to say, oh, I know where you're at. Let me move you up to this level, yeah, to your students. So our goal is to get you to have experiences that you can then share from experience, not just from your head, as teachers. Yeah. So there's a bunch of readings, a bunch of homeworks. Attendance was a question, and I think I answered. I don't mind if you miss a weekend. If you need to miss 2, you'll be expected to catch up. So all the classes will be video. You can catch up. I'm not going to give you a ton of homework, but I would love it if you set a time, the 200 hours plus your practice time, to really focus your mind. When you come out the other side, you'll thank yourself for it. Don't half-ass do it. You do it properly. There'll be some assignments and graduation. So the assignments will be something like attending X number of 3 Joules meditation classes and scaring the existing teachers here by transcribing their meditations to see how they're doing. I'll give them the constructive feedback. But no, I'm kidding. But you'll have an opportunity to actually transcribe and see what a meditation teacher is doing, how long the silence is, etc., 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 for you to then begin to map and plan your own meditation, write it out, plan it, very similar to your second yoga class in here, which was just brilliant. Like the amount of planning and preparation you did was incredible. And so I'd like that experience for these meditation teachers. There'll also be an audio. You'll get to choose, or the meditation might choose you. For you to perfect, we'll choose a meditation early on, and then throughout the 10 weeks, you'll get to perfect that meditation. So by the end of it, you can just do it like that. You will do an audio recording. We'll share it with each other. Yeah. And last, yeah.
What if the 3 Joules meditations don't fit into your
work schedule.
That's okay, so then we can do some other meditation, no problem. Yeah, we will be flexible with these things. My goal is for you in your current lives to come out the other side and learn and understand that you can teach people meditation with confidence that what you're teaching will help them, with an understanding of why it will help them. If you have that philosophical foundation, you will not go wrong. You will also have the capacity to structure your own meditations. This is a little bit more advanced, but you'll get why certain, so for example, someone who knows about this preliminaries to meditation. Yeah, so we'll answer why preliminaries to meditation are actually function to let your meditations give you results, rather than just jumping in and going, meditating, thinking about my phone, meditate, like just doing that will give you some results, but doing it with preliminaries, having some space to clear your mind, to center your mind before you begin, will deliver you much stronger results than not. Okay, so we'll share why, etc. And with those tools, you'll then be able to say, well, here's how I structure a meditation and why it works. The language you can choose doesn't have to be Tibetan Buddhist yet. The technology works. And then you'll be able to place or choose the object of your meditation dependent on your audience. So we'll end up with you being able to actually curate a meditation, but we'll also give you some default meditations, for you to start with. So the assignments are just going to be that, and over the period, there'll be a 360 evaluation. Like within the first weekend, you'll get to benchmark yourself about how you are as a meditation teacher right there, right now. Along the scorecard that we'll offer. And then we'll keep returning to those scorecards and those metrics. How is your tone? How is your content? How is your posture? How is your instruction, etc., etc. And by the end of it, we'll do it again. We'll be doing it all the time. By the end, you will see a marked difference. You'll feel confidence. You'll say, oh, I knew I worked on this, and third time, I'm done. I'm so confident on it. That's our job, is to make sure you walk out of here completely confident that you can help other people get the insights and the results of meditation. And then graduation, it will be very similar to the last course we did, which you get to do a little mini TED talk on the effects of meditation in your life. Someone want to share that? I want to talk about that. To me, that was transformative to hear and be surprised by people's incredible capacity there. Gabriel, you started going, say that part was awesome.
That was just really, I can't say enough about it. It was, first of all, it was an opportunity to see a lot of different people's personal experience with meditation. And so like just heart-opening kind of talking about what meditation has done for them. And so, and we had all studied together in the training, so that it was like this coming together of a community of teachers, and just so there was a lot of emotion, there was a lot of just really, really profound kind of vulnerability, and honesty, and openness. But then just in preparing for it, we did a lot of, we studied how to present, right? And so it was, at the same time, it was all about the heart. It was also about how to organize your thinking and how to, practicing presenting skills. And so it was very, very instructive. And I know, like, going through the preparation for it myself, I was just discovering so much about my own presentation styles and what was working for me, what wasn't. It was like a bit of a rehearsal process for me. And what I really noticed was, like, from the first, we talked a little bit about the first teaching. Rachel was mentioning that first time going up there and getting constructive feedback and all that. The difference from that first time, that you practice teaching in this safe laboratory, right, to this opportunity where you're in this culminating event, and you can see your own growth and your own kind of transformation and that whole process. So it's a really useful kind of tool for a culminating activity in so many different ways. It's an opportunity to really learn so much about your own skills and about what meditation really you come face to face with. What it speaks to you and your heart.
The awesome thing about that for me is watching all these incredible people that began the training share things that I had no idea had happened to them or that they attributed to meditation for overcoming or transforming and the rest. And then those sound bites, like the sound bites from each person's presentation, I know became for them the anchor for how they do a quick intro in a meditation class. You know, meditation can do these things for you. I know the story behind that quick intro, which to me was very powerful, and we all heard it from everyone, and it was inspiring all the way around. For me, it was just magical. Cool. Any questions on that part of the process? Everyone's very quiet. You still want to meditate? Let me talk about the guest teachers. Yeah? You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Okay, first and foremost, so this is in order of appearance. This is the second or third weekend, I think. His name is Bill Burney. He did 3-year meditation retreat. He studied these philosophies for 14 years. I travel with him to China twice a year. He teaches kids meditation. He does youth camps in the USA and abroad. He's an amazing yogi. He knows how to integrate both the yogic and Buddhist paths. And he's going to be, I think, on a Sunday afternoon. On that slot, he's going to talk about some of the nuts and bolts of meditation. But he'll give it to you, not just in, do you remember this list of the 9 stages of meditation and the 5 problems and the 8 antidotes? He's going to give you the instruction. You'll get the readings. You can do further reading. He's going to give you the experience of those things, and then hopefully share some of the magic that comes from taking meditation to a bizarre level, which is isolating yourself for 3 years in silence. And what is it that happens in your mind, and how can you use that when you come back to help other people in the world? He's a magical person. He's a little naughty, and I like him. Yeah. Geshe Tashi Dorje, he was the Unsei for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The Unsei is the chanting master. It's like the 3rd highest rank in a monastery, right? So you've got the abbot and the disciplinary master that hits you with the mala beads over the head, right, when you're falling asleep. And then you've got the Unsei, the chanting master. So he's going to talk about the monastic perspective, the meditation as a path to enlightenment. He's going to share that tradition with us. Yeah. Sadhya Monetary, yeah, I can't spell. We're gonna give him money. Yeah. Sarah Monastery.
S-E-R.
I know Sarah. Sorry. What is spell? Presentation skills, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So, okay, we're moving on to. Oh, you have a whole weekend with Molly Bergholm. Yeah, there's too many things for me to put up here for each of these people, but she's a teacher training for Eye Rest Yoga Nidra. She's got a ton of research and proof. She's like a leader in research on overcoming trauma and what the brain does in stress response. She works with the Department of Defense, with vets and the rest, transforming their lives. She travels the world talking about this and teaching people how to teach this. So she'll come to meditation from the perspective of healing real and serious traumatic events. She'll talk a bunch about that, give you access to research and how it functions in a very stressful situation. She'll also talk about holding a safe container, creating a safe space for us as teachers, because it doesn't matter how normal the people look, everyone has the potential to be re-traumatized when you go digging in their minds. Yeah. So to have that awareness as a teacher and to use your tools to make sure they walk away better, not worse. She's going to be an incredible speaker. She's also going to talk about turning your personal brand and turning meditation into a money-making thing, because you should. Yeah, don't be scared of money. She'll tell you about it. With money, you can help more people. If that's the way this world is working, then let's work that way, but remain authentic. Yeah, so she's got a successful, she's about to come out with a book. She's got a very successful practice. She helped the Three Jewels with a trauma training, manage our outreach program with the Department of Homeless Services when the teachers from Three Jewels went out and did work for the city for homeless shelters and the rest. She was very instrumental in helping us get that curriculum off the ground. Warriors at Ease is that trauma-informed thing with vets. Dr. Pooja Amy Saha. She's a neuroscientist. She's also East-West. She's actually the lead meditation teacher trainer at Nalanda Institute. She's just gone into the faculty there. She's also faculty at Columbia University. She got her medical acupuncture degree from Harvard, or one of the Harvard schools. And she's got 2 medical degrees, one on integrative medicine and one on family medicine. So she's a real doctor. She knows about neuroscience. She's a total yogi, studied for years and practices all the time. And she's got this whole East-West thing perfectly down pat. So she's going to be able to share with us research, what the brain does in meditation, the whole Western perspective, and so how to talk about that, and with the Eastern wisdom that will be packing into the training. She's an amazing, powerful do-gooder. Yeah. Mark, here you go. He's an amazing human being. Everyone here is complete master at what they're doing. He runs a very successful online meditation business, completely inspired by his own transformative meditation experience, and he wanted to find a way to give it to people early on. So early that they hadn't been born yet. So his online meditation business is called Expectful. He started it from scratch. He did a ton of research about mothers, potential mothers or mothers-to-be doing meditation versus mothers-to-be not doing meditation, and what that does to the development of the child in the first trimester, second and third, and then what it does after that. He'll bring a bunch of that research, but he'll focus mainly on, well, how do you grab meditation and serve the world through the lens of business as a force for good? Yeah, he's an amazing practitioner. He's the founder of that, and he's just visionary. He'll be able to, he'll be coming towards the end of the program, because once you get your meditation teacher basics down, we want you to walk out of here with the capacity to share, whether it's going to be writing a book or teaching at seminars or doing TED Talks. You are empowered to share to your capacity what you know and what you learn, because it will help people. So our job with all these guest speakers and ourselves is to not just give you the tools for meditation, give you the tools to teach, but also give you the tools to organize yourself and prepare yourself to be incredible at Instagram, like Sam. Yeah. So he'll talk mostly about branding. He's an author and coach. His approach to meditation, he has access to massive brands and large audiences. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I think I know, and you could probably add too, but like he teaches at the Museum of Modern Art. He teaches meditation to like hundreds of people. He went to this like small retreat with Bob Thurman and was it Cornfield? And Richard Cleveland? No.
It was Jack Cornfield.
Jack Cornfield? I think it was Jack Cornfield. Buddhism and psychotherapy. And he Mark Epstein.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Mark Epstein. So anyway, he makes a living doing this and talking about it. And he's like super happy, super successful, super fashionable, and his Instagram following is beautiful. I mean, he has like 30-something thousand people, and they do meditation challenges with him. It's like such a bright example of how you can actually be courageous, especially with social media.
Absolutely, thank you. And last but not least, the weekend before your graduation, the weekend after Thanksgiving, you're going to have the pleasure of meeting John Brady and Connie O'Brien, both of which have done 3 years silent meditation as well. I don't know if you know what ACIP stands for, Asian Classics Input Project. For the last 30 years, they've been collecting and saving ancient books, the ones that were burnt in Tibet when China took over and all the monasteries got burned and the books were lost. Well, they run an organization that goes around the world looking at old museums, private collections, grabbing the old Tibetan manuscripts that left Tibet in the 1700s or the 1800s, scanning them, digitizing them, so scholars can go research and translate the Tibetan canon. Yeah. So amazing organization. And then they teach around the world in the Dharmakaya Institute, Buddhism in business terms, how to transform your business and your life. They're both very powerful, incredible human beings. I think they will leave us in the training with a ton of inspiration about the change that we can do in the world as meditation teachers. Second last but not least is, did I spell everything right?
Yes, thank you.
Good, checking. Yeah, lucky it wasn't Sarah. Yeah. Coco is also an incredible meditator, completed a very successful 3-year meditation retreat, has studied these things for 25 years, integrating the body and the mind in a way that I don't know anyone else that can describe it, and the experience as deep as that, both from the yogic tradition, the Buddhist tradition, supported by a whole bunch of other Eastern philosophy. Those of you who studied with Coco and think she's totally amazing, say yay. So she'll be co-teaching the entire program, and me, I'll come from the organizational change management perspective. My job for some 20 years has been to help large organizations and the individuals in there transform, with an improvement in the way they function, rather than saying that change is bad. Change is an opportunity to transform. If you have control of the change, if you are proactive in the change, it can change your life for the better. If you're not, you can complain about change, and then change will come and get you anyway, right? So my job is to really energize human beings, and has been to energize human beings to look at the opportunity in change. What is it that triggers us? And it's a bunch of it is mental. It's nothing that you do out there. So meditation and the capacity to change proactively is a life-changing tool. So I come to this training with that methodology and that hope that you can look at whatever's blocking you from changing, overcome it, so you can go out and become the best person you can be, and be as productive and meaningful as you can be. I've been studying these things. I bumped into the 3 Jewels 22 years ago in Open, and it completely transformed my life in the way that I began the talk by saying, you're always practicing, you're always learning, right? So I'm never satisfied with the way I'm learning. I didn't know how much my life had changed until the most powerful impulses were coming, watching my mother die and watching my friends and family freak out, and realizing I am being completely centered, completely focused, and I'm seeing magic in that moment between mum and I, and seeing the possibility that something important is happening to her right now, and there was confirmation there. Yeah. So Q&A, we're doing Q&A. Basically, this summarizes what I want to convey to you about the training. Yeah, you'll totally deepen your personal practice if you do this training, guaranteed. Assuming you do the work, right? You can't sit here and just be dead fish and then you'll improve. You won't. You have to do your 50% of the job. And that is, if you do what we've planned out, if you do it in the sequence that we've done, the homeworks, the readings, the internalization, challenge yourself, you'll definitely improve your personal practice. You'll definitely get a foundation to the practice, and you'll have new language and insight about this East-West thing. We need to have the language. I don't want Tibetan Buddhists out there, but I want to grab that technology and make it current, or ask you to make it current for wherever you're heading as this beautiful meditation teacher. So East-West, very important to be able to understand what is all the research that is going on, why is it working? And if you have the Eastern perspective as well, you will have authority to be able to understand why meditation can change lives and can actually change the world people live in. We'll give you the tools to manage and structure classes, improve your teaching skills, understand the business of meditation, and last but not least, connect to a community. I think Gabriel was saying how amazing it was to be in a room and seeing this community transform people that you thought you knew. So I thought I'd show you a couple of things that if you graduate successfully from this program, you will have access, no guarantees, but you will have access to be part of what we're doing here at 3 Jewels. So far, we've been open 6 months in this location. We've already taught 1,300 classes, had nearly 10,000 people through the doors up to the end of July, right? Or June, end of June, or July? June. Run mostly by volunteers. So if you graduate and you've learned these signature meditations, you will have opportunity to teach here, sub here, and so on if you pass. It's all founded on the premise that if you want something for yourself, the only way to get it is to help somebody else get it first. Yeah, and with that, we then send our teachers from the 3 Jewels to teach schools, workshops at work, and we need meditation teachers to be able to go out and teach at, what was the company that came here? Squarespace, or the real estate company, or the home services, or whatever it is.
Havas Media.
Yeah, Havas Media. We need people with the skills that we trust to be able to go and teach at this location. So you, as a certified 3 Jewel meditation teacher, will have the opportunity to go and do that, do some of these public talks, and be involved in much of our outreach program. We're a 501c3 non-profit. I'm going to show you a quick video of this beautiful thing we did with the Department of Homeless Services. Here we go. So being able to do programs like this is the reason the 3 Jewels is a non-profit. We want to be able to give access to meditation and this wisdom to people that don't normally have access. Yeah, we'll charge, if you're an average person, we'll charge you, come give us your money, we'll use that money to do this, but then we need teachers to go out and do this kind of work. The other work we do, we have a non-profit called 108 Lives. It's been around 10 years now. We go to Nepal on an annual basis, and we now help with a couple of schools, a couple of orphanages, and we teach or we fundraise, and then we go out and do that. We also need teachers and people to participate in those programs when they come up. And lastly, we hold meditation retreats, previously in Nicaragua, in the future TBA, right? But I want to give you a feeling of what it's like to hang out with a bunch of people that are using meditation and looking for wisdom to be applied today in New York City, 2018. I'm old. And just what a magical experience it is. In the middle of winter, we get out of here, like we should, and we go and have some fun, but also some in-depth, silent meditation with a bunch of yoga and a very focused mind. This is not what we had practiced. There were just a lot of flies. Okay. No, I know. Don't be they're just flies. Wait till you see Casper. So after an intense 7 days or something like that, silent meditation, quiet depth, we go out and just go to the beach and let it all out a little bit, connect. So we have fun too. It's an awesome time together, and I hope that you join us. For those of you that signed up, I'm excited for you to be part of the program. For those of you that are thinking about it, highly encouraged to do it. Yeah, if it fits your life, if it's what you want. Any final questions, comments? Yeah.
I don't know if we've covered this, but it's not going to be in this location.
I didn't cover that. You're right. It's not going to be in this location. I thought I'd put it up on.
It's going to be in Brazil.
Yeah, every weekend in Brazil.
Weekend.
No. We've reached capacity in here. Our schedule is full. So we've had to partner up with the community center on 6th Street. And so we're creating a pop-up space over there for the entirety of the training. Yeah, meaning Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 Joules will be there for this teacher training.
It's actually a really nice space, and they have this beautiful stained glass windows.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really lovely up there. Really? And
It's to be called Finding Super.
wow. And it's just lovely. It's private. It's got a little rooftop sort of access. We have a little kitchen there, and it just be dedicated for a teacher training. Yeah, that's a good point.
Should we bring any things with us, or will there be bolsters, cushions?
What did you find out? Do they have bolsters, cushions, or we're bringing our own?
We're going to bring our own, but if you have your own meditation cushion, you can bring it. We can't. Oh, we can leave stuff there. So if you want to leave your stuff there, you can. But they do have other classes that happen during the week, so your stuff might get used. We do plan on bringing our own cushions from 3 Joules for you guys, so you don't have to bring your own cushion.
Yeah, we'll have a whole process of taking stuff. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, comments, ideas, hopes, things I didn't cover in the content?
What does it mean you're gonna like teach you and Coco together?
Well, I'll be the main guide throughout every weekend. Specific topics. So, for example, Coco's first topic will be posture, setting up the room, how to experience your body, so you can then teach people how to do that. I'll be there every single weekend. She won't be there every single weekend. Yeah, or the guest teacher will come on a Friday afternoon and so on. But Coco and I will mostly be the ones leading. Yeah, we share the same lineage. We've done the previous teacher training together. Extremely competent and complementary the teaching styles. Yeah, good question. So she'll pick a topic, she'll get to deliver it. I'll pick a different topic. You'll get enough difference in teachers to be able to get a little bit from this one, a little bit from that one. The list of guest speakers is the opportunity you have with the guest speakers is going to be incredible just by itself. Yeah, just by itself. It'll give you a really well-rounded of meditation as a life-changing practice. And you as teachers, you're going to see examples of what people did with meditation in their own lives, and hopefully that will see in you a hope or to use meditation in your own way, in your own magic. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions, comments before we say hello? You're going to be that trouble person like you.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Will there be like, did you guys use like any sort of platform to communicate, or is it just like updates, announcements, sharing experiences? Was there anything kind of like that last program? Or?
Good question. We did have homeworks, quizzes, all that stuff organized on a Google Doc, and a Google Drive. But in terms of messaging, I think we used just an email. Yeah, email was the most common platform. But I'm open.
We can all decide whether, like for the yoga teacher training, there was a Facebook group, which is nice because after the training ends, you guys can continue to like, hey, like this awesome thing, or like I'm teaching here, like guys, come do it with me. But Slack is very effective. We can decide if everyone wants to use Slack. The Facebook group might be really nice to have as well, but there'll definitely be emails.
And I hope to do those
email.
logistics on the first weekend. Yeah. Where we did, at the moment we have 12 people signed up. Yeah, there are people that were wondering, waiting, etc. Depending on who finishes signing up and our capacity together or our abilities to communicate, we'll do the common denominator. Yeah, but good call, good question. Anyone else? Questions, comments, thoughts?
How much, like let's say, per day that we're in training, like how much time will we spend meditating?
We'll definitely, you'll be meditating every single day separate to the training, right? But in the meditation, I'd say, I don't know, an hour a day of actual sitting meditation, broken up in chunks, yeah, I'd say. Because what we want to do is give you the instruction, give you the experience, then get you to share internalize it and be able to share how you communicate. But I'm guessing. Yeah,
I found that we meditated in the last training. We meditated a lot more than I expected, because when other people were giving their presentations, like you have 2 minutes to present or you have 5 minutes to present, you're meditating because they're presenting and you're practicing. So you're just meditating.
That's true. I didn't count that time. You're absolutely right.
Did you do 100 hours for the first one?
108 hours, and now we've doubled it.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
And I could be mistaken, but is this the only 200-hour meditation teacher training out there?
No.
No. Mindful has a 300-hour, but it's lasting many months, more than ours.
And they cover other lineages,
a bunch of guest teachers covering different lineages. But we're not unique in that way, but we're definitely unique in the amount of training that we're going to do of you as a meditation teacher and building a business. That component, I'm confident, is fairly unique here. Yeah, we're definitely going to give you the foundations and strong meditations. But meditation teacher training is a bunch of teacher training. You know, for us to come out of here and say, wow, my practice is strong, how do I teach it? You'll definitely come out of here. I'm confident in that side of this training.
I wonder if we could talk a little bit about the integration of yoga and meditation and how that will or will not be part of the training.
Yeah, interesting. So I've got a couple of slots. So the entirety of the training isn't fully locked down every weekend because it's dependent on some of these teachers saying, I'll do this, I'll do that, right? We'll definitely get that integration in discussion, but not in practice, through Coco, through Earl, through John and Connie, and through Molly. Yeah, so there those opportunities to integrate the practice of yoga, yoga asana, and then what that is for, and how that overlaps with the Tibetan view of what happens in your mind and in your subtle body when you're meditating. Yeah, and how do you use yoga to get your mind to a specific space, and then to be able to recognize those states. It won't be a main focus, but from those 4 people I mentioned, you will definitely have that in South Peperia. Yeah. And if you come to the retreats, like the Nicaragua retreat that won't be in Nicaragua, that is much more experiential. Yeah. Is that fair?
Yeah, maybe you could say in monasteries, when they get to advanced studies, after you've done all those years of study and a lot of reading and rigorous textual memorization and study, you start doing yoga. You actually, the way that we know yoga. But in this training, we'll present it through Ashtanga, so through the 8 limbs, how does meditation work with asana and pranayama and those components. So we'll talk about that too, in regards to meditation.
Cool, good question.
Totally connected with different. What's the difference in the similarities between someone who's pre-awakened versus an awakened teacher?
Explain again.
Someone who's still on the path to awakening, hasn't experienced spirit and received it directly yet, versus someone who has and is still in the state of others Buddha. What's the difference in the teacher?
How do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean.
You mean someone who understands it intellectually versus
Someone who's fully realized, totally experiential knows it all, and also understands the people, what doesn't even come to teach it. Versus someone who's not awakened yet, they understand and teach, will communicate about that on peer to peer, but they still don't have full realization either. So it's how do they integrate and how they differ?
Yeah. I think you're talking about when someone is an enlightened being doesn't necessarily, are you saying that they can't teach necessarily?
But they're not necessarily a good teacher.
Yeah, and then somebody who maybe doesn't have realization.
I see where it's going.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you?
This is not an ACI class, but I'm happy to debate you on the topic. I would say it's dependent on the student, okay? Whether or not you have an experience of a teacher, enlightened or not enlightened, that is actually teaching you. It doesn't have, there's nothing in the teacher separate from your experience of teacher that is going to give you the experience that they know their stuff or they can communicate that stuff. It's got nothing to do with the teacher. It's got to do with the student.
Is there any group work in terms of the participants outside of the weekends getting together?
There's opportunity for that, but there's not an emphasis on that because I am very aware we're doing back-to-back weekends except Thanksgiving, so we're trying to minimize the extra work that we're putting on you because we'll be together all the time. Yeah, we planned it just so you can have after 5:30 free on a Saturday and Sunday, which is still plenty of time to have a half a Saturday, a quarter of a Sunday, you know, whatever it is that you need to have. So Friday evenings, get your minds ready. Saturdays, come in, have a nice lunch break. Saturday evenings, you have an opportunity for that kind of working together on any of the assignments and stuff. If you choose, we'd encourage it. We'll determine that on the first weekend. And then you also have time to prepare for presentations on a Sunday morning, which is when we usually will get you to do your prep work. Yeah? Come in on Sunday, get some presentations down, get some practice down, get some 360 feedback happening, and then usually Sunday afternoons you'll either have a guest speaker or we'll introduce a new topic that we've got to think through for a week. Does that answer? Yeah, Steve, you were going to say? No? Cool, ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful that you turned up. If you have any other questions that are not public, I'm around if you want to ask. If not, there's plenty of awesome people in the room that can answer all the questions too. Thanks for your time, and I hope to see you in a couple of weeks. I start teaching ACI, the summary of the Tibetan Buddhist curriculum, on September 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, the week before the training starts. Yeah. So if you want to get a taste of these teachings that are much more in depth, is that right?
Yeah. No, I'm laughing because if you really want to dedicate all your time to the study, you could do Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday.
Well, I'll be doing that, and I'm inviting anyone that wants to do that to join me. Thursday night, in-depth summary of some of the stuff we're going to get in the training, and then Friday night training, Saturday till 5:30, Sunday till 5:30. yet, but by the beginning of December, you'll pop out with a bunch more outcomes than you did coming into the program. Confidence, toolkit, insight into what your trajectory might be in terms of using meditation for your world. And I hope you take it up, because I think the world needs more meditators. Amen.
Amen.